So yeah, guys, we just had the dev streams and I wanted to do a quick recap, okay? So make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to donate for the channel, we are trying to build a better PC here to improve the GPU, basically only, right? And if you want to, you can help with the link in the description. It will help immensely, right? But let's start. We're just gonna recap very quickly some stuff while showing some stuff on the screen before the dev server. Because, first of all, dev server is gonna be opening very soon, okay? First thing, SLAM-RAM, right? AIM-120C-5s, boys. Yes, it has the C5s, which in theory would have around 30 to 40 kilometers of range being fired from the ground, which is amazing. AIM-9X would have a pretty interesting range as well. They say around 15, so it should be what we know from it. There are some bugs going around here of multiple missiles being launched, stuff like that, but everything is going to be fixed, they say, and there will be a limitation apparently on range of where you want to go. So in the English dev stream they were saying that there won't be, but in the Russian one they said yes, there will be some form of limit on how far away you can go from these AA systems, okay? So AIM-120C-5's coming for the SLAM-RAM, which is pretty cool. And the way that this system works is pretty interesting. We already talked a lot about them. Everything that we talked about yesterday is here, okay? But just the main thing is AIM-120C-5, so very cool. They tested a little bit of the SLM as well. It is going to work just like in real life. They said it was around 12 kilometers. It was kind of bugged in the game and stuff. It will be better, okay? And the SLM will have the aerodynamic cap, the better engine, everything that the IRST has. So it will be better, okay? How it will work is basically it will probably have around 40 kilometers as well, 30, something like that, max range. And it will be radar guided up to like 10 kilometers from the target, the missile, and then it would start to guide itself with IR. So this is kind of how it will work, okay? There was some new roundels, which I think it's pretty cool, like a Brazilian one and some others. So very cool. That's always a good thing. They showed some of the packs as well, the new packs. Once the dev server is open and everything, I will be covering more of these, okay? So they're just World War II packs for the US, the Germans, and the Russians, apparently, for now. I actually forgot to mention to you guys yesterday, yes, they are introducing the 14-pack Hellfire, missile capability of the Comanche, as you see right here. So it will be less stealthy in theory. Hopefully that's implemented. But at the same time, it will take more missiles. So yeah, the Comanche will have a 14 missile Hellfire, loadout. Also, they actually added a new mechanic of auto rolling the helicopter, right? So you can put in kind of a row and then you will click a button and it will maintain that row. So it is pretty interesting, a little bit better for maintaining a kind of a weird flight path so that AA systems can have a little bit of a trouble getting to you. So it is pretty interesting. This will be implemented obviously for other helicopters, just that they show it in the Comanche. Of course, they showed a lot of the big ships. Of course, the Bismarck, the Iowa, everything is pretty cool. I will be doing videos of that in the dev server, but they show it. It is what we expected, so nothing too much to talk about here. The recap is basically, the idea of the video is just to show quickly the most important things that we didn't already know, okay? So they changed some stuff for the bigger ships and stuff. Like, for example, it is going to spread around more the ace shots, some other things like imaging things, like graphical things of the fires of the boats and stuff will be changed, but nothing too crazy. 8.7 will be the max BR, a new rank, and it will kind of have a gap for now in the ships, okay? So yeah, something interesting to think about that is that, for example, the Bismarck will be able to fight the F-117, which is something crazy to think about. Yeah, 8.7 is going to be a very high BR for these ships, but anyway, yeah. This is the SC-1, the new aircraft for the Iowa. It will only be for the Iowa. You cannot grind it, okay? But it has some machine guns, bombs, and it will be the scout plane that they use there. So the Swiss sub-tree. Many things that we need to talk about here. 2 F-18s, like we planned to. Yeah, indeed, 12.7 AIM-7s, F-18C will be basically a late model. The Hunter F-58, it's an earlier model of the F-58 that we had, the A model, right? The F-5, apparently it's pretty much the same. And then we have the Mirage 3S C70, which is pretty interesting. It has some interesting missiles. But as you see right here, it is getting some missiles as well with the Hunter, right? So for example, the Siwa and the LWF-63. These missiles, guys, it's hard to find information on them. It's apparently a better AIM-9E or something like that. We have to, check it out. And apparently the Mirage will also have something like that. As you can see, the F5E is pretty much what we knew. I don't know about the radar or anything else. We're gonna test it out on the dev server, but it is pretty much an F5E, just a normal one, nothing too crazy. So yeah, just a cool aircraft that you can get in the tech tree, right? But then, like I said, the Mirage 3 actually had some interesting features onto it. So like I said, it has the canards and also a different missile. So apparently it will receive the same missile as the Hunter, but also a new version. So it has the 75 and then the 79, 6479. I couldn't confirm what missiles were these 100%, but if I'm not mistaken, this will be pretty much just an AIM-9E as well. And then this one, the 6479, if I'm not mistaken, that missile will be the AIM-4 Falcon. So indeed, what I talked about yesterday is kind of true, that the Mirage 3, the Swiss one, will be the first one to receive a Falcon missile. If I'm not mistaken, that is the case, okay? If I'm wrong, let me know, because it's really hard to find information about these missiles. But yeah, it will be for the Swiss sub-tree. So yeah, the first aircraft to ever receive an AIM-4 in the game will be a German-Swiss aircraft, which is cool. French, Swiss, German, if you will. New T-72 will be called the T-72B3M, but it is indeed the B3A project, right? So it is basically the same tank that we already had in the tech tree, but with APS. So indeed, what we thought it was going to be, it is what is going to be added. L39 will be very easy to fly, very low BR, 6.7 they say. So yeah, nothing guided, nothing else like that, and it will be a premium. But yeah, indeed, 6.7. This will be a very low BR for such an aircraft, but it makes sense, right? It is a very slow aircraft, like I said. And then the long-awaited F2, guys. Yes, 2 F2s will come. One of them will be the Tech Tree 1 with AM4s, AM3s, and anti-ship missiles. Yes, it will have anti-ship missiles, the F2. And then the F2A ADTW, which is the premium one, that will have a very low BR, 13.0. It will have the AM3, but it will use the AIM-7s, okay? And I don't think he uses the anti-ship missiles, I have to check, but yes, it has its own pod, its own thing. So if you want to spend, oh no, it does have the... It does have, right? I'm looking at right now. I think it does have the anti-ship missiles. But yeah, so anti-ship missiles are being added, the ASM 1 and 2, JDAMs, AIM-7s, and everything with that. But yeah, the F2 is indeed coming with 2 variants, a premium and a Tech Tree 1. The Tech Tree 1 will be a 13.7 vehicle, not a 14.0, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I guess it makes sense what I said back in the day, talking about how the F2 will be just an F-16 in the game, of how it would be. It should have already been in the game for a long time, And then they talked a little bit about the Type 81 as well, which also will receive the new system of the the SAMs and stuff. So that's pretty cool, right? The main difference here is that this TAMSAM here, the Type 81, will be able to, if the radar is destroyed, continue to drive around, because it is one of the only AA systems of this type that can actually have a optical system to destroy targets and aim the missiles, right? So for example, the SLM, if it's destroyed the radar, it will just be destroyed, the vehicle. The Type 81, it will not, because it has that optical secondary system that it can use. There was already a thing that was kind of technically being used already, right? And an F5A will be coming, guys, with AIM-9Ns. I don't think it's ready yet, but it will be just an F5 for the Dutch, right? The AIM-9N is pretty much just an AIM-9J, okay, or P, so with different solid state electronics and stuff. So we should have maybe a better tracking rate or something like that. I have to check, but it's basically just an F5 coming as a premium for the French, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Another crazy thing, guys. AIM-120C-5s are coming for the new F-18 for the Finnish. We don't know if it's coming for the Americans. We don't know anything else for now. Maybe BVD will say it at the end of the stream that I'm watching right now. But at the end of the day, the Finnish new F-18, the MLU-2, that will be a new aircraft, will be able to take AIM-120C-5s. So yes, probably more aircraft will be able to take that as well. Okay, so C-5s for aircraft as well, which is crazy to think about, but yeah. And then we have some other minor things. Some things that I wanted to talk about is that the Iris-T for now has only 12 kilometers of range, the normal one. The SLM still doesn't have its proper stats, but it will be a 60G missile for now, okay, which is pretty cool. We have the new maps, the Falklands, dump fuel mechanics, new effects, new menu, new radar. I'm gonna show everything, but just first, let me find it here. The Israelis are getting the Spider IAO indeed. It's not ready yet. You only can fire the derbies and a missile that apparently has a model of the Iris-T and the name of a Type 81, so it's really not ready yet. Work in progress, of course. But yeah, it will have the derby missile for now and probably will have the Python 5, I would assume. It's just not ready for the game, but look at the size of this vehicle. So yeah, the Israelis will receive a new AA. And by the way, the British will receive a new AA system in the next update, apparently not in this update. I would assume that they would add something for the Russians as well in the next update. But yeah, not everybody's receiving a new AA system. Something they show it as well is a new radar screen, as you see right here. So you will basically be able to have kind of a different way to command an AA system, right? So you can actually use this to try to find targets, understand where they are, the distance, everything. It will be just better for you to actually, decide which of these targets you're gonna fire on, etc., etc. You'll be able to even fire the missiles from here, which is pretty good, right? So it is a very interesting concept. It feels like we are in Sindacta, which is our main defense system here in the in Brazil, right? That the guys just are in bunkers under the ground, like 20 stories under the ground or something, or 6 stories, I don't know, I don't remember, but very deep underground, and they're just looking at these screens and talking with civilian and military aircraft. We have multiple of these throughout the country, and I even in my college years I visited one just because I was in college, because these are very classified things, but they are very similar to this. The guy just has this type of thing to look around and send aircraft to intercept or not, or just talk with them with the radio and stuff. So it's very cool to see this, a very realistic thing about how a radar kind of would work, I don't know, you know what I mean, right? So very, very cool thing. Also, of course, fuel dumping is being added. So BVD was showing here on the F111. So for example, we will have new effects, and you will have the dumping mode. So basically you would use this when you don't need as much fuel and you want to dump it. Okay, so for example, he's trying to figure it out here. Let me just wait a little bit. He would click a button, of course, and then he would start to dump the fuel, right? So where is it? Where is it? Oh no, it's before. That's why it's not. So yeah, you can dump the fuel, and if you ignite with the afterburner, it becomes this, which is pretty cool. So you will be able to dump fuel, which is amazing. Also, there will be new effects for the flame effects for the afterburners, which is amazing. As a pilot, looking this type of thing makes you want to play more. I gotta say, this type of thing really makes it up to be different. And yeah, guys, basically this is it. Okay, there are other things, but these are the main ones that I could think about, and I list them on my thing here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe. The patch is going to be pretty cool, kind of a smaller patch in the terms of groundbreaking stuff for air, but for everything else, ships and ground vehicles, it's a very big patch. So very cool. For me personally, the AA systems are just chef's kiss. And yeah, guys, basically this is it. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and if you want to donate to help the channel, link is in the description for the PayPal. Okay, see you guys on the next one, and bye. See you.